Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Face the judge. A man accused of kidnapping a child and leading deputies on a chase appeared in court this morning. Only on WRAL, the toddler's mother explains the relationship with the suspect.
And our temperatures this afternoon are going to climb into the mid-80s for the first time in quite a while. I'll show you what's bringing the warmth and how long it will last.
Tuition options. In-state students may have to pay more to attend UNC system schools. The options the Board of Governors is considering. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Lovingood. The man accused of stealing a woman's car and kidnapping her child appeared in court today. What you're seeing here is video of deputies saving the toddler and arresting 26-year-old Tyler Tootle. Now, the state prosecutor said Tootle has a history of assault against the mother and violated an active protective order. In fact, we have WRAL's Carly Haynes live outside the Sampson County Courthouse on the story. Carly, you spoke with Tootle and the child's mother today.
Chris, we were standing right here when deputies brought Tootle from jail from right here into these doors to the courtroom. Now, Tootle told us that that child is legally his, but the mother of that child, Candace Fargas, said that's not true. In court, Tootle nodded as the judge laid out the charges against him. That includes felony kidnapping, stealing a car, and leading deputies on a chase. A state prosecutor said yesterday's events happened while there was already an active protective order between him and Fargas. He has previously been accused of violating it, and the prosecutor also said that stemmed from pending assault and domestic violence charges against Fargas. Tootle is now charged with jumping into Fargas's running car with the child in the back seat, then driving 2 hours away. He was eventually stopped by Sampson County deputies, and the mother told us she is just grateful it's all over.
I can be nothing but thankful that my child is okay. I have a lot to deal with as far as sorting through all the losses from the car catching fire and losing. I mean, there was a lot of items that I lost, but I can just be thankful that my child is here.
And Fargas said Tootle is an ex-boyfriend and not the biological father. Tootle is now being held on a $1 million bond, both for the charges in Randolph County as well as the charges in Sampson County. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Sampson County.
A Wake County special education teacher accused of assaulting a person with a disability is suspended. Jody Catt is free on bond, and she's charged with assaulting a student at Roseville High School last Wednesday. According to the police warrant, Catt kicked the victim while they were sitting on the floor.
Warmer than normal temperatures are in the forecast for this afternoon and into the weekend. Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at what's driving the warmer weather today. Lots of sunshine out there.
That definitely helps for sure. This is a live look at downtown Durham, looking so pretty out there. And we're seeing these sunny skies all across the viewing area. 76 is our current temperature, and our dew point is 63. And that's kind of a middle of the road dew point. It's kind of nice to see the dew points in the 50s this time of year. It makes it feel refreshing and comfortable, but 63 is not bad. If we get up to 70, then it feels really oppressive. Temperature-wise, so it's 73 in Roxborough, 76 Raleigh, 79 in Fayetteville, and it is 80 degrees now in Southern Pines. These temperatures are running anywhere from 3 or 4 to 9 to 10 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. So that's already a nice big warm up. Where is it coming from? We have high pressure sitting just offshore, and that is now shifting our winds to southerly. That southerly southwesterly flow is really going to heat things up. Tomorrow we could see a high temperature close to 90 degrees. We're going to talk about when we tend to see our average last 90-degree day for the year coming up. But looking at 85 for this afternoon, once you get home from work, temperatures cool off nicely into the upper 70s pretty quickly. The drought monitor comes out on Thursdays, and for the first time since the middle of May, we have 3 southern counties and 3 northeastern counties, at least little slivers of them, that are now looking at moderate drought. So we're going to talk more about how different it looks today than it did last week. Also, a quick check of the tropics. We have the latest path that just came out a little bit ago from the National Hurricane Center, and it still looks like the storm could become a hurricane by early next week. It's likely to stay a tropical storm until then.
Elizabeth, thanks. Coming soon, college could cost more. UNC system leaders are discussing tuition increases. WRAL's Monica Casey is live at the system headquarters in Raleigh. And Monica, a lot of families are paying attention to this, but we want to let them know this is not a done deal.
That's right, and this will be a campus-by-campus decision. It is the first time in almost a decade we are seeing even the possibility of any tuition increases at UNC system schools. Now, any changes would impact future in-state undergrads. They would not impact any current in-state students. This also does not impact any of the NC Promise schools. Those are Elizabeth City State, Fayetteville State, Western North Carolina, and UNC Pembroke. The Board of Governors chair said today 3% is the maximum any campus could increase tuition.
We are now in an era of some financial uncertainty. Inflation has driven up the cost of operations at our institutions. Universities have absorbed those pressures while holding the line on tuition, but we cannot expect them to continue doing so without negative impacts.
Now, campuses do not have to raise tuition. If they do want to, Chair Murphy says each university's board of trustees must weigh in on any increase before it would then come to the Board of Governors. The Board of Governors would then vote on any increases next February. Live in Raleigh, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Meanwhile, some Wake Forest University students will be able to attend tuition-free starting next year. Students with an annual income for their family of less than $200,000 per year will get a free education. It's part of a new initiative for Wake Forest.
Destiny Patterson here in the WRAL Live Center. I want to tell you about this new deal between President Trump and the British Prime Minister. Take a look at this photo that they took right after signing on to that deal. They're calling it historic. This is a $204 billion investment from the United States over the next decade, and other investments are also coming from GSK and Blackstone. They say that coming out of this will help with things like AI, quantum computing, and nuclear energy. And business leaders are saying that this is the biggest investment package of its kind in British history.
Destiny, thank you. Shell-shocked. That's how one celebrity publicist describes ABC's decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely. The Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, issued a statement condemning the suspension, saying suppression of free speech and retaliation for speaking out on significant issues of public concern run counter to the fundamental rights we all rely on. NBC's Liz Kreutz has reaction from Republicans and Democrats.
This morning, Jimmy Kimmel off the air. The host seen leaving his studio last night after ABC announced it's suspending his long-running late-night show indefinitely. During his monologue Monday night, Kimmel made comments about the shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, accusing Republicans of reaching new lows in response to the 22-year-old alleged killer, who authorities say had a leftist ideology.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
The comments sparked outrage among many conservatives, including Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, which oversees broadcast licensing for local stations, speaking on Wednesday afternoon, threatening to take action against ABC and its parent company, Disney.
It appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
Soon after, Nexstar, one of the largest television station groups in the country and currently seeking FCC approval for a merger, announced it would stop airing Kimmel on all of its ABC-affiliated stations. Within hours, ABC suspended Kimmel's show. Carr praising the move later in the evening.
I'm very glad to see that America's broadcasters are standing up to serve the interests of their community.
And on Truth Social, President Trump congratulating ABC for, quote, finally having the courage to do what had to be done. FCC Commissioner Ana Gomez, the lone Democrat on the panel, accusing the Trump administration of setting a dangerous precedent.
We must be careful not to allow the government to punish critics simply because of content.
Kimmel's suspension comes 2 months after CBS announced it was canceling their late-night show with another Trump critic, Stephen Colbert, CBS saying it was a financial decision. Over the last week, a growing number of people have been fired or suspended for their public comments about Charlie Kirk, something the vice president encouraged.
So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer.
But some say what's happening now is a double standard.
Conservatives, for many years now, have claimed that they are the free speech champions. They have railed against so-called cancel culture. And now you're seeing them lead the campaigns to cancel people that they disagree with.
The FCC regulates the public airwaves, including broadcast signals and content. Before the president appointed Carr to lead the FCC, it had taken a hands-off approach to broadcasters' political content in recent years. During an interview with Fox News' Sean Hannity on Wednesday, Carr called the move an important turning point.
Now, you heard some of the reaction there from officials like President Trump, but we're also getting some reaction from celebrities as well. Ben Stiller saying this isn't right. Megyn Kelly on the other side of things saying that this is vile and disgusting. She goes on to say that this is an intentional lie to gin up hatred. And she ends this very long post by saying, in short, good riddance. Also agreeing with that stance, we have Matt Walsh, who says that Jimmy Kimmel lied about Charlie's assassination, calling him disgusting. But then on the other end of the aisle here on Instagram from Jean Smart, she says that she's horrified at the cancellation of his show, saying that what Jimmy said was free speech, not hate speech.
Next at noon, officers down, shooter identified. What we know about the man police say ambushed officers trying to serve a warrant in Pennsylvania.
Turnpike tire trauma, how the survivors of a crash are doing after a tire smashed into their SUV.
And Caniacs rejoice. The Hurricanes training camp begins today. A look at what upgrades fans can look forward to at Lenovo Center.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
Here in the WRAL Live Center, we're following news of a person who died after riding on a roller coaster in a new theme park in Florida. This is what that roller coaster looks like. The man was in his 30s. They say that he was unresponsive while on that ride. After the ride, he was taken to the hospital where he later died. At this point, we know that that attraction is still closed, according to officials there. This is a ride that reaches heights of 133 feet, 62 miles per hour. This is a very, very thrill-seeking ride for people who like to ride these types of roller coasters. And this is also one of the new parks that they have there as part of Universal. It only just opened in May.
You gotta imagine people around are traumatized just by being there. Unfortunate that person. Police in central Pennsylvania have identified the man they say shot 5 police officers, killing 3. 24-year-old Matthew Ruth was accused of stalking his ex-girlfriend's home where that shootout happened. Overnight, an emotional procession honored the fallen. Residents lined the streets with American flags, and it was one of the deadliest days for Pennsylvania police this century. The 2 injured officers are expected to recover.
3 men are recovering after a tire crashed into their SUV on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. The driver says a tire flew off a pickup truck in the opposite direction, and the bloody driver managed to pull onto the side of the road where he realized the extent of the accident. His 2 friends badly injured, and the one in the back seat was knocked out. His friend in the front passenger seat was bleeding when the roof caved in on him.
All I see a tire flying towards me, and next thing I just hear, boom! That tire hit my car, and I slammed the brake.
Police interviewed the 33-year-old driver. So far, no charges have been filed. Officers are trying to determine if the truck had any recent work.
Publishers Clearinghouse is in bankruptcy, and that has led to winners seeing their joy become undone. Some winners who were promised $5,000 a week for life quit their jobs. Well, now they're uncertain how they're going to pay their bills. A mobile gaming company bought PCH's remaining assets. ARB Interactive was that company, but it defended not paying out prizes won before July 15th of this year because it has never been a part of that purchase agreement before. Authorities in Egypt are searching for a 3,000-year-old gold bracelet, and it disappeared from the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. The bracelet is adorned with deep blue beads and belonged to a pharaoh who reigned during the 21st dynasty. An image of the bracelet was provided to all airports, seaports, and land border crossings, and the hope is to prevent any attempts at smuggling the jewelry away.
It's happened again. People across our area saw a SpaceX launch this morning in our sky. This is a video that a viewer sent to us. SpaceX launched its Falcon 9 rocket around 5:30 this morning, and it deployed 28 Starlink satellites. Around 10 minutes after the launch, these images started pouring into our newsroom. Now, if you have video or pictures like these, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send your video, pictures, or tip to our news team. But quite a treat for all those early risers. I know some of them sent us those photos going, what was that? Was that a comet? What was going on in the sky? So really cool that they got to see it.
It was neat to see it. And Grant Skinner did a write-up on WRAL.com to explain what it is, if you want to take a look at that there as well. All right, let's take a look at Fenton and Carrie looking absolutely beautiful. I'm sort of surprised that we're not seeing more people wandering around, but I guess, it's the middle of the day, on a work day and school day. But it is awfully nice to be outside right now. Our dew point's at 63. That's kind of middle of the road. It's not really refreshing, but it's also not way up there at tropical or steamy either. 76 is our temperature, and we'll climb on up into the mid 80s for this afternoon, which is above normal. Right now, our temperatures are feeling very comfortable, though, mostly mid 70s to around 80, 79 Fayetteville, 80 in Southern Pines, 76 right now in Southern Pines, 77 in Apex, 74 in Garner, 75 in Wake Forest. It's a very comfortable start this morning. We had a good bit of cloud cover, especially in our southwestern counties and some of our eastern counties. We still have some clouds in our eastern counties, especially along and east of I-95 north of Goldsboro. But that is likely to dissipate as we get through the next little while. And definitely around the triangle, we're looking at anywhere from 10 to 20% of the sky covered with clouds this afternoon, which is mostly sunny. 85 in Raleigh and Durham, 88 in Fayetteville this afternoon. So that is warm, and it's going to be even hotter tomorrow. We'll see highs in the upper 80s, but by Football Friday time, by game time, temperatures will be down in the low to mid 80s, which will be fairly comfortable. And then at the end of the game, temperatures will be in the mid 70s. So it's going to be a beautiful evening for football, and then a really nice day on Saturday for football as well. At 4 o'clock Saturday, when Duke takes on NC State at home, it's going to be great weather, definitely on the warm side. But, we can hardly complain about that this time of year. 82 is our normal high. So today, tomorrow, and Saturday are all above normal. And obviously Friday is pushing 90 degrees. It's more comfortable Sunday and Monday. But even with these very warm temperatures, we're not looking at any records. The record for today is 98, and the record for Friday is 98. So anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees hotter is what the record is. When do we typically see the last 90-degree day of the year? The normal is September 12th, and so we are 6 days past that at this point, and the latest is October 10th. So we still have a little ways to go until then, but we don't have any more 90-degree days in our forecast. 89 here on Friday isn't quite 90, but it's close to it. We begin to cool off a little bit Sunday and Monday. Monday is the first day of fall. I will point out that we have a very small chance of a thunderstorm Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then potentially a better chance on Tuesday and Wednesday, which should keep our temperatures slightly cooler. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about the tropics and what is steering our current storm.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Grocery prices dropping. President Trump says the cost of food and gas are going down again. Today on WRAL News at 4, our PolitiFact team takes a look in the pantry.
An attorney arrested. One local person is accused of stealing money. Today on WRAL at 5, what we're learning about what happened and how he's responding to the accusations.
Digital spending, how caregivers can help teens understand the value of money and make smart purchases.
And new FDA recall, customers are being advised to steer clear of another brand of cinnamon. Why the seasoning could be harmful to your health. Getting a live look outside at Durham, looking a lot clearer than it was several hours ago on this beautiful Thursday as you're watching WRAL News, available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
To many teens, online money doesn't always feel real. Swiping a card or clicking a button feels much less tangible than handing over cash, which can lead to impulsive spending. Jennifer Williams shares the results of a new survey on what teens are buying without their parents' consent.
We don't want to, limit children from interacting in the world because electronic payments are here and are a part of, everyday life. But we do want to impose rules and guidelines.
According to a Talker Research survey of 2,000 parents, 72% say their kids don't understand money's true value now that it's gone digital.
We have a responsibility as parents to also teach our children about the big ticket items so that even with that one click, they might think, oh, I can get that pair of sneakers or I can get that Apple iWatch. You have to save up money. You cannot just go purchase on your parents' credit card.
The study also revealed nearly 1/3 of those parents have caught their children making unauthorized online purchases, with each incident averaging a whopping $170, well over the average monthly allowance of $100.
I would say monthly $25.
So I don't give allowances. I make them work for chores. So, yeah, I don't. $20 a week then?
Kids aren't buying just video games and clothing. Parents are reporting that they are spending big money on tech like computers, smartphones, and smartwatches. Some parents have even reported that their kids have purchased stocks and cryptocurrency.
They want it because TikTok or whoever is telling them they have to have it because the next person that they're all following, is getting paid millions of dollars to promote it. But I think that, again, as a parent, it's our conversation to have with them. Put that in the cart and do not press purchase until mom or dad or our caregiver sees that purchase and says yes.
That was Jennifer Williams reporting. Despite the financial risk, 23% of parents rarely monitor their children's digital purchases.
What? Okay, so basically that brings us to our question for today, right? With all the ways you can access money, debit cards, credit cards, and money apps, how do you teach your teenager the value of money? We want to hear what you think. See that little QR code right there? Yeah, go ahead and share your voice by scanning that little code on your screen, or you can head to WRAL.com/yourvoice. We will share the results before the end of this newscast. All right, hit the ice. It seems like the Canes just wrapped up the last season, didn't they? Well, no one's complaining, right? We'll take you inside the first day of training camp.
Here's a look at the winning North Carolina Education Lottery numbers. Good luck.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Today in the UK, President Trump turned his focus to trade and the global economy. After a lavish state dinner and a day steeped in historical ceremony, the country's get to work as protesters outside called for change. NBC's Alice Barr reports from Windsor, England.
The day's meetings between President Trump and Prime Minister Starmer bringing thorny political challenges back to the forefront after the high gloss of the royal visit. And following a day of closed-door meetings between President Trump and the Prime Minister, there is this press conference that comes against the backdrop of some division over the war in Ukraine, with the UK and European allies pressing President Trump to move more forcefully against Russian President Putin, including with sanctions, and to more forcefully back Ukraine. Wider gaps still on the war in Gaza as Israel intensifies its offensive. The UK is preparing to formally recognize a Palestinian state, something President Trump sharply opposes. And then there's the scandal over sex offender Jeffrey Epstein rearing its head on this side of the Atlantic with a controversy involving his ties to the British ambassador to the U.S. Protesters also projected giant images of President Trump with Epstein on the walls of Windsor Castle. The president and prime minister looking to focus on business ties, signing a new tech pact to advance AI and nuclear technologies. A number of American tech CEOs also on hand here looking to cement future ties in this long enduring alliance. President Trump returns to Washington tonight after the second state visit that he has called one of the highest honors of his life. In London, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Meanwhile, tens of thousands of Palestinians are fleeing Gaza City as the Israeli military advances its occupation plans there. Before the expanded offense was announced on Tuesday, the military ordered people in Gaza City to move southward. They were told to go to what Israel described as a humanitarian zone in the south. But as of yesterday, nearly 400,000 people evacuated Gaza City.
Destiny Patterson here in the WRAL Live Center. Here, Trump is asking the Supreme Court for an emergency order to remove Lisa Cook. This here is Lisa Cook. I'm going to scroll down so you can see. She has been a member of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors since 2022. She's the first black woman to be on that board. In September 9th, they ordered a temporary blocking of Trump from being able to fire her. Of course, all of this comes just one day after interest rates were cut. This would be the first time that federal government has been able to fire, or a federal governor on this board, rather, has been fired by the president if this were to actually go through.
Thank you, Destiny. Funeral services are now underway for Erica Lucas. She was a former Wake County school principal and the wife of Wake Forest High School's football coach. A visitation and celebration of life will be held at First Baptist Church in Kelford. Lucas died 2 weeks after she was shot at a home in Wake Forest. Police say she was not the intended target. Deputies in Johnston County say a shooting near Garner may have been accidental. Sky 5 was above Dutchess Drive near the Cleveland community yesterday afternoon. Deputies say a man was shot and alcohol may have been a factor.
Here in the Live Center, we are tracking another lawsuit against a former NC State ex-head trainer. There are 14 former athletes who are now suing, and they are alleging sexual abuse under the guise of treatment. This is against former director of sports medicine, Robert Murphy. Now, this expands a case that began federally with one athlete about 3 years ago. Multiple other people are listed as defendants on this lawsuit for what they're saying in the lawsuit, not preventing it or properly responding to their concerns. Of course, you can read more about this story on our website. We have it posted here on WRAL.com.
This morning, the Carolina Hurricanes started their training for the upcoming hockey season. Jackson Blake was among the first Canes to hit the ice. Rod Brindamore and the team have new faces joining them this year, and that includes defenseman Keandre Miller. But the core of the Canes lineup returns. The fan base is hungry to take that next step and win the Stanley Cup. And fans were able to take in the team's first practice at Invisalign Arena. Brindamore was thankful for that support.
Community connection is awesome, and it has been for a long time. And I think that's one of the special things about this area is the connection that the players have with the fans. It's pretty unique, actually, in the world of sports. So we're definitely going to keep that going.
They call them Caniacs for a reason. They love the team. WRAL's Sean Gallagher explains the big changes coming for the fans this season.
It might feel like the season just ended, but Canes training camp starts today as Rod Brindamore's squad will enter inside the Invisalign Arena for their first step towards the new season. A new team will take the ice as their road to a Stanley Cup begins with training camp, but fans can also expect a new experience at the Lenovo Center this year. The arena is in the throes of the first phase of its $300 million renovation. That means updated concourses, concessions, and an upgraded view bar in the 300 level. Here, any fan with a ticket can get an incredible viewing experience of the ice during the game. It's really an upgrade for every fan, regardless of the ticket they bought. Now, they will see this evolve as less of a ground-up project, but more from the top down, with the first projects expected to be completed in that upper level.
I don't think the 300 level seats will have ever seen more value than they will this year. You know, there will be a period of time this year where I think their concession stands, bathrooms, et cetera, are the best in the arena, which is an exciting thing to think about.
Team president Doug Worf says these projects won't be finished for opening night, which is surprisingly 3 weeks from today, but it shouldn't involve the fan experience as it evolves throughout the season. In Morrisville, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
The Raleigh Fire Department is hiring. They posted this video on social media. The job comes with stability and a competitive benefits package. Starting salary is over $56,000. Candidates must be at least 18, have a high school diploma, and a valid driver's license. You have until September 30th to apply.
7 Go Raleigh routes will begin running more frequently. So Route 1 Capital, for example, will run every 10 minutes in the morning and every 20 minutes during the day. The Wake Med route will now go every 15 minutes into the evening and on weekends. The changes take effect mid next month, and you can read the entire list of changes on our website, WRAL.com.
A fall tradition in the Triangle will celebrate 10 years. Asia Fest this Saturday draws thousands of visitors to Cocoa Booth Amphitheater in Cary. You can explore nearly 100 exhibits and activities, sample delicious food, and cheer on the dragon boat races. I'm excited to MC the main stage performances. WRAL is a proud media partner. You can buy tickets in advance on the Booth Amphitheater website. Seniors and children under 12 are free.
Disney settles. The windfall coming to employees who sued Disneyland for not paying them a living wage.
Lawn goals, how to design a yard that looks vibrant and beautiful without using a lot of water or weed killer. Stay informed with the WRAL News app. Live newscasts, video feeds, and stories that matter to you all in one place. Download the latest version today.
Oh, we heard from you. Viewers are telling 5 on your side about hazards involving in-ground utility boxes near their homes. So our team started getting emails after a recent story that Keely Arthur did, showing us the problems neighbors say they still can't get fixed.
About 2 months ago, we told you about an Apex resident named Matthew Privet who accidentally stepped on an in-ground utility box very much like this one. He went through it and as a result nearly lost his foot. Since then, we've been getting emails from you showing broken utility boxes, also known as handholds, in yards and along roads. In these 2 cases, neighbors told us off camera they contacted the utility who owns the box, told the owner it was dangerous and needed to be fixed, but those requests never went anywhere. Other neighbors told us these boxes can't be left in this condition.
They need to take care of their stuff.
Yeah.
Could be a hazard.
We wanted to help out these neighbors and also find out why their requests for repairs weren't being answered. Coming up tonight on WRAL News at 6, we're going to tell you what happened when we tried to request a repair of one of these utility boxes and the roadblocks we ran into. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
The FDA is recalling the 12th cinnamon product since July 2024. The agency says Jiva Organic Ground Cinnamon may contain high levels of lead. Fortunately, nobody has had a reaction from the product, but anyone with this cinnamon should throw it away. Extremely high lead levels can cause a seizure, coma, even death. A California judge approved a $233 million settlement for Disneyland employees. 51,000 of those employees joined together in a class action lawsuit. They claim Disneyland denied them a living wage. A Disney spokesperson says around 96% of its employees now earn more than $22 an hour.
Ditching grass lawns. It's an attractive option for some homeowners. We'll explain how to create captivating landscapes that require little to even no watering.
Chase away the blues. A football fan developed a new ritual after painful losses on the field. How the Bears are helping him stay in peak physical fitness.
Yes, we are in Panthers country, but a Chicago Bears fan is going the extra mile for his favorite team. A 29-year-old personal trainer is putting his bunny where his mouth is. He has pledged to run 1 mile for every point the Bears lose by this season. Why would you do this, young man? Last week, he ran 31 miles in one day because the Bears were 52-21 in their loss to the Detroit Lions.
I love the Bears. It's my favorite thing to do on Sundays. And a lot of this started from after the games, I'd be kind of down that they lose. And instead of being sad about it the rest of the day or the next day, something that really helps me is running. So doing these runs after games just helps me clear my head and still stay positive.
And I'm certain his legs will be amazing by the end of the season. In December, he'll try to break the world record in the men's division for holding the longest plank. The record set in May 2023 is 9 hours, 38 minutes, and 47 seconds.
But if the Bears start winning, then he's a couch potato. So I guess there's a benefit to the loss. Some landscaping experts say now might be the perfect time to start rethinking your lawn goals. One particular trend is growing in popularity, especially in drier areas of the country. It's called xeriscaping. Ted Lindner takes a closer look at the benefits.
From our showers to our sinks and beyond, Americans use a lot of water. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, the average family uses 320 gallons of water every day, with about a third of that H2O used outdoors. And water consumption can rise for folks striving to keep their lawns bright green.
Fingertip to elbow. Okay. Doesn't plant that often.
But in a bid to save water for financial and environmental reasons, more people in drier climates are embracing a growing trend.
Xeriscaping is the art of not wasting water and still celebrating the abundance of the earth in your yard.
Landscaping expert Erin Murphy says xeriscaping helps to beautify a property in the absence of water because most standard grass lawns can die out and weeds will start to take over.
Your lawn is going to stop working and looking good. You're going to have to address it. You're going to have to open your eyes and say, what could I do that's different and better?
Murphy says you can accomplish drought-resistant landscaping in many different ways.
Most people think of like a gravel garden with perennial plants in it when they think of xeriscaping. You can also have a lush prairie. You can have a crevice garden or a rock garden with tiny little plants growing amid stone features. You can have a cactus garden.
Abandoning grass lawns can also help people limit fertilizer and pesticide use, which environmental advocates warn can get washed into rivers and other water sources.
Don't know if I could do it. Kentucky bluegrass, forget about it. All right, so tracking the tropics right now, Elizabeth, right here, Gabrielle, that's where your eyes are focused right now up there.
Yeah, very disorganized looking. You know, we look at tropical systems all the time, and, you know, usually they have a closed circulation and all of that. The National Hurricane Center is holding on to this. Most likely, in the next 48 hours, will move into an area that's much more apt to keep this storm together and allow it to strengthen a little bit. It does have 50-mile-per-hour winds, moving northwest at 15 miles per hour, and it's just way out in the Atlantic right now. It's over 800 miles away from the Leeward Islands, which are right here. So here's where it's headed, off to the north and west. It may weaken to 40, 45 miles per hour by tomorrow and stay there for 24 hours or so. But then it's likely to move into an area where it will pick up some intensity and possibly become a Category 1 storm. That would be early next week. Right there's Bermuda. And so the forecast fan stays off of Bermuda. What you don't want to see is the center of the storm passing to the west of Bermuda, because that would put Bermuda in the spot where most of the damage would be done. So as long as it passes to the east of Bermuda, Bermuda should be in okay shape. I mean, they'll definitely see windy conditions and a lot of rain, but that'll be less damage if it passes to the east. Here's what's steering the storm. There's a high pressure system just to the north of it right now. High pressure systems rotate clockwise, so this storm's going to get steered right around that high. And there may be a cold front too that comes swinging through at the middle of next week and also helps to give it a little kick out into the Atlantic. What our weather maker is doing right now is bringing us lots of sunshine. This high pressure system with sinking air and a flow coming out of the southwest is bringing us some summer-like warmth without the summer-like humidity. Tomorrow we'll be up near 90 degrees. We'll have limited rain chances, but they're not a zero chance. So we'll talk more about that in just a minute. Wilson's looking pretty right now. It's been breezy the last several days, not as breezy for today. We may see winds gusting up to 10 to 15 miles per hour, which is pretty normal. And it's partly cloudy there in Wilson. A very small chance of rain today, 10%. And then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it's 20%. So that just means that, you know, don't be surprised if there's one or two little isolated storms that pop up. 20% means that most of us don't see any rain. And our forecast rain totals for the next 7 days, are somewhere between a quarter of an inch and a couple hundredths of an inch. So we don't have much rain in our forecast. For the last 30 days, we've only seen about 20 to 40% of our normal rainfall. So we're definitely hurting, and we did see that reflected in the drought monitor. We talked about that at the beginning of the newscast. But here's what it looked like last week. We had abnormally dry conditions there in yellow, just in our southern and eastern counties. And now we have abnormally dry conditions across the triangle, most of our viewing area, and a few pockets of moderate drought, a few of those south of Fayetteville, and a couple of those also north and east of Wilson. So, yep, it's just been dry. Finally caught up with us. It was such a nice wet summer, but it's been dry for the last month or so. So it's definitely catching up with us. We're looking at cooler temperatures. Even though we could almost hit 90 tomorrow, we're back to 82, which is our normal high for the first day of fall on Monday.
Thanks, Elizabeth. The value of money. Earlier, we talked about how teenagers use debit cards, credit cards, and money apps to make purchases. And so we asked you, how do you teach your teenager the value of money? You can sound off on WRAL.com for that.
And here's a look at your winning Powerball numbers. We have 7, 30, 50, 54, 62. The Powerball is 20. The multiplier is 2. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. Today, the man accused of stealing a woman's car and kidnapping her child appeared in court for the first time. We are learning 26-year-old Tyler Tootle has a history of assault against the mother and violated an active protective order. Tootle has said the child is legally his. The mother, Candace Fargus, tells us that's not true. He is charged with kidnapping, stealing a car, and leading deputies on a chase. He's in jail on $1 million bond.
A Wake County special education teacher is accused of assaulting a person with a disability. Well, that person is now suspended. Jody Catt is free on bond, and she's charged with assaulting a student at Roseville High School last Wednesday. According to the arrest warrant, Catt kicked the victim while they were sitting on the floor.
College could soon cost more. UNC system leaders are discussing tuition increases. This will be a campus-by-campus decision, and the first time in almost a decade we are seeing any possibility of tuition hikes. Any changes would not impact current in-state students, but they could impact future in-state undergrads. Each university's Board of Trustees will discuss any proposed increase before the Board of Governors votes on it in February. Our pet of the day from Hope Animal Rescue will absolutely melt your heart. Moonstone is a 3-month-old lab mix. He's the best of both worlds. He's playful and relaxed. Moonstone loves to bounce around with his brothers, but is just as happy to settle down for a cuddle when playtime is over. With his balanced personality, Moonstone will easily fit into many kinds of households, bringing both fun and snuggles to his forever family. Contact Hope Animal Rescue if you're interested in Moonstone.
All right, so earlier we talked about how teenagers use debit cards, credit cards, and money apps to make purchases, and we asked you, how do you teach your teenager to value the money? Let's see, Renee.
All right. Most say they teach needs versus wants. Okay. Very good concept. And about 20% say explain budgeting, and the rest saying discuss savings goals.
And I think, yeah, savings goal I think is good, and also make sure they work for it. I mean, that's
right.
Very, very helpful tip there.
Assigning household chores, that's always good.
Keep
Give them a little something, to do.
Payment as reward.
That's right.
All right, grocery prices dropping. President Donald Trump says the cost of food and gas is going down. Well, today on WRAL News at 4, our PolitiFact team takes a look into the pantry.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And just a reminder, you can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Hope you have a blessed day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.